Every franchise has a story. Some are written in glory, while others are written in heartbreak. For decades, this team has lived in the shadow of what could have been, with legendary players, iconic moments, but always falling short of the ultimate prize. Now the page turns and a new era begins. The weight of expectations on a quarterback who lost his rookie season, and the face of the franchise, a generational all-time great, all fighting for redemption. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when they can change their destiny. The stadium stands silent. The battlefield awaits. Shadows stir, legends awaken. Tonight, the clash begins. Join the Night Watch and let's sim the battle and rule the night together. Welcome to Night Night Sims. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is Night here, and we are here for episode 1 of our Madden 26 CPU versus CPU slow sim franchise. And yes, we are using the Minnesota Vikings. So, chose Vikings for a couple of reasons. One is based off of the community. This is what team had the highest number of votes. Two, obviously I'm a Vikings fan, so no better way than to start our Madden 26 episodes in our franchise series with the new era of JJ McCarthy. And this team's looking phenomenal so far. I'm really liking it. There are some weak points, obviously. A little concerned about the cornerback room. But for the most part, I think it's going to be okay. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and get this first episode rolling. So if you haven't already, be sure to check out the slider video. That's all the sliders and settings and auto subs that I'm using for this franchise. I can just kind of briefly run through it just so you can see it, but I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it because I do have, an entire episode, an entire video pointed out specifically for these, but just so you guys can see, I'll just kind of run through real quick. It's going to be as realistic as possible. What I'm going to do for sliders and settings is I will reevaluate after every season that we do, unless there's a patch that really breaks something. But for the most part, we're just going to reevaluate every season. And then if there's any major changes, I'll highlight them in the video. And if there's multiples, I will make another slider video to update as far as all of that goes. But like I said, I'm just going to run through these pretty quickly. You feel free to pause it if you need to see something, or like I said, check out the slider video that I do have out for Madden 26 that will have all of these sliders and settings in it. Same with XP sliders and all that. All this is in there. And it's got really good stats. I did it over multiple seasons, tried multiple teams, different schemes, different playbooks. And speaking of that, if you guys want to see a more in-depth kind of look at what I do when I'm setting up my sliders, how I evaluate them, stuff like that, drop a comment down below. And if you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe so you get a notification of when all these are coming up. I really appreciate the subscriptions, the comments, the shares. I like to be involved with all the community and everything like that. So feel free to comment. Let me know how things are going, what you're seeing, what you're not liking. And let's kind of build this team together at the same time. So without further ado, those are kind of all the settings. I will go over, the auto subs real quick. I just got to remember where that's at now with everything changing. I believe it's unmanaged team. Yes, auto subs. So these are the auto subs are running. Same there. And then don't forget to check out that slider video again, especially because the wear and tear auto subs are in that video. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get this thing started. So it looks like we have a Coaching Central coaching carousel. Firing and hiring a staff is available this week. So kind of just going through, giving the approval breakdown for Kevin O'Connell, our head coach. I am a big Kevin O'Connell fan. I do like his coaching philosophies, his coaching styles. So instead of doing my own coach, we're kind of just going to take over Kevin and keep growing his career at the same time. So it looks like he's pretty much, 6 out of 10 for everything other than for the staff. And then, of course, they don't have coordinators, right? I do wish they would finally fix this at some point and, have the correct coordinators in there, especially now the coordinators are starting to matter again. Hopefully that's something maybe they'll put in a patch, or maybe we'll get that in Madden 30. Who knows? But then, of course, we have all the different abilities. We'll go over those as we go if we need them. Play sheets. And then, of course, goals as they do things throughout the season. But that's a new, interesting thing that we'll be working with. And now we have a trainer talk, team health, going over different ways to handle your team's health. So head coach O'Connell wanted to discuss managing player health for the upcoming season. As players start to take punishment during a game, that wear will cause their health to start to diminish. Well, they have a grammar issue there. Attributes may be affected and injuries more likely to occur. Okay, got it. Thanks. I'll provide more attention on the wear and tear during the game. Where do you fit in? Each week we'll evaluate every player's overall health and give them a status to help you manage your lineups. During the week, it'll be up to you to decide what your team's training plan is and how you utilize your staff's abilities. After practice, we'll give you each player's final status. This determines their availability for the upcoming game. So I do know what that is. So what happens when that goes on is after your practice, you get an actual status for every player, just like in real life, where they're questionable, probable, out, or whatever the case may be. And I actually do like that integration into Madden, so that's pretty cool. So that's good to know. Make sure to keep status in mind when setting up for the week. What did you mean by abilities? Abilities allow us to adapt to how you plan for the team. We can focus on a player's health during games or their week-to-week recovery. New abilities can unlock or improve over time and can be changed week to week. Let us know the plan during the next weekly strategy. All right, thanks, Nick. Appreciate the insight. Look forward to working with you this year. All right, so that was a cool little storyline. And just to go through everything, so training camp's obviously the same. We'll go through that in just a second. Coach Central, again, that's just the abilities, play sheets, goals, and all that. When you go in and kind of see that overview, you now go to manage team for your depth chart, adjusting lineups, injury reports, your team schemes, which I am running West Coast Zone Run and 3-4, the Disguise 3-4 with Minnesota's playbooks. GM's office is where you do your rosters, trade center, free agents, depth chart, check out the salaries, re-sign players, and do the improved team or relocate or rebuild. And of course, the play game and advanced weeks. For news, still looks the same as it did in Madden 25. Nothing's really changed there. As far as the league, nothing's really changed here. Same stuff. And options, nothing's really changed there. Same stuff. So, speaking of that, let's go ahead and we will go over the team roster. It is preseason. We haven't done the cuts yet, and we will get into that. But obviously for quarterbacks, we're running with J.J. McCarthy. Carson Wentz, I did update it the best that I could for this starting point as of today from what's gone through. So I did trade Howell over to the Eagles for the draft picks. I don't think I can show them here. Oh, yeah. So I was able to get the 5th and the 7th. For some reason, it wasn't. It doesn't say them, but it was for that. So I got it as close as I could to where we're at in real life. I did cut Ripon ass, or whatever you want to call it, because he's definitely not on it. I was always a fan of Brosmer anyways. For halfbacks, unfortunately, they don't have Xavier Scott. I do think Scott's going to make the 53. I do see Chandler being the odd man out, just based off the preseason play, stuff like that. But they don't have him yet, so we're going to be running with Chandler from the looks of it. For fullbacks, of course, C.G. Ham and Giovanni Ricci. We're probably going to cut Ricci. For wide receivers, you got Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. I will put him on a bench for the first 3 games since he is suspended, so he will not play in our first 3 games, just like in real life. Rondell Moore, they have not updated the injury statuses for some reason, so he will be last on our depth chart, and I'm hoping he does not see the field, seeing he would not see the field. Jalen Naylor's injury, we're keeping track of that. I do think he will be ready to go week 1, but we'll see when we get there. And, of course, Ty Felton, Miles Price, and Tim Jones. Tight ends, you got T.J. Hawkinson, Josh Oliver, Gavin Bartholomew, Nick Vanette, Benjamin Urosic, and Bryson Nesbitt. For left tackles, of course, you got your stalwart in Christian Darrisaw, Justin Skule, and Leroy Watson. Left guards of Donovan Jackson, Blake Brandel. Centers, Ryan Kelly, a new addition from the Colts, along with Michael Jurgens. Right guard, you've got Will Fries, also from the Colts, and Joe Huber. And then, of course, Brian O'Neill, our stalwart on the right side, with Walter Roos and Matt Nelson. Coming from the left edge, we've got Jonathan Grenard, Gabriel Murphy, and Tyler Batty. From our right edge, you've got Andrew Van Ginkel, Dallas Turner, and Bo Richter. D tackles, after the Phillips trade, pretty good idea of how this room's going to look and how it's going to work, but we do got Jonathan Allen, Javon Hargrave, Jalen Redmond, Levi Drake Rodriguez, Taki Tamani, Jonathan Harris, and Tyrion Ingram Dawkins, who was showing out during the preseason. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from him. So he will definitely be a developmental piece in our franchise here on Madden 26. For Sam, it doesn't list anything for Sam. Mike, you've got Blake Cashman, Kobe King, and Austin Keys. For the Will, you've got Ivan Pace Jr., Eric Wilson, Dorian Mousey Jr., and Chaz Chambliss. Cornerbacks, of course, Byron Murphy Jr. signing that nice extension. Isaiah Rogers Sr., Mackie Blackman, Tavier Thomas. Depending on where you look, he's listed as a quarterback or a safety. He's been mainly listed as a cornerback throughout his career, so that's what I have him as. You've got Jeff Okudah, Ambry Thomas, Dwight McGlothern, Zemiah Vaughn, and Khalif Halassi. For free safety, Harrison Smith, Theo Jackson. Strong safety, you've got Josh Metellus, Jay Ward, Will Reichard for our kicker, and of course Ryan Wright as our punter. They do not have Oscar Chapman in here either yet, although I do think he will make the team, at least the practice squad, if not on the team, due to that the international player exemption. And then of course a long snapper, Andrew DePola. For the draft picks, we're looking at a round 1, a round 2, a round 3, a round 4, a round 5, and 3 round 7s for this upcoming draft of 2026. That's almost in line what's in real life. I don't have it right in front of me, but I believe that is off by a little bit. But we will see. And obviously, I think some of those picks, I do have a feeling they're trying to get Adam Thielen back to Minnesota, and that was partly why they were able to get the draft picks with that Sam Howell trade that just went down. I do feel like they're trying to buff up a trade enough to get Carolina to bite on that, but I do not think Carolina's going to. I would love to have Thielen back, especially if Naylor is unable to go in week 1, because I don't want it to be Ty Felton, Miles Price, and Justin Jefferson as our starting 3, in the slot and everything into week 1. I'm not very happy about that. But we'll see what happens. So that's kind of the roster. So I'm going to go ahead and do the training camp. I'm not going to bore you guys with this. So I'm going to do this real quick, and then we'll be right back. All right, and we're back from the training camp. You did not want to see me doing that anyway. I barely got bronze in any of them. So anyways, let's go ahead and set up our weekly strategy. We're going to go ahead and sim through the preseasons, I feel like, and just kind of get the team set, and then we'll be ready for week 1. But for staff abilities, let's see what we can do on these. I'm going to remove everything, and then we're going to kind of go through them and see what lines up best for our team, stuff like that. So let's see, Blitz Plus, increased chance against pass rush moves for the interior offensive line. Let's see, field general. So we definitely want field general for JJ. We want to run better, so we're going to do big back. Let's see. I think we're going to have a pretty strong O-line, so we're going to go ahead and do trench barons. Let's see, head of chains, dashing dots. That is definitely a JJ specialty, I would say. And for defense, I think we're actually set up pretty good for man-to-man. But we're going to be doing heavy pressure. So let's go ahead and do passing paranoia. And actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and get rid of trench barons. And let's add in bookend busters because we do have some really good edges. So I think that's what we're going to do on that. Yep, I think that's what we're going to run with. We've only got 5 of the 6 for now. For play sheets, let's go ahead and remove both of these. And I do think we need to, we're going to be doing some heavy play sheets based off what I'm seeing. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a heavy strong sheet. And let's try, how about we do, well look, and we're going to do a nickel for our defense. I think that's what we're going to run with for our 2 play sheets for now, just to add into plays. And then for trainer abilities, let's do practice protector. That way it prevents injury chances during practice. I think that's a big one. Or we could do game shield, reduce wear and tear. No, because I want the wear and tear sliders to work, so let's just work on injury prevention. So I think we're pretty good on that. We're going to confirm those loadouts. And I do want to build up those players. That is correct, but I would like to see, let's see, let me go to our corners. I do want to see one of these 2 getting some takes, but which one should we do? I'm going to do Dwight McGlothern just because I think he's a little bit more ready. They're about the same age. We're going to do full pads for now for offense and defense. We are going to simulate. I'm going to simulate most of the stuff. I'll also be simulating training camp moving forward. I just wanted to see what they were like when I did it. That's why I didn't really show it. It was just a quick trial run. Because it is all CPU versus CPU, so I don't want any player input on this. Not like I was going to do much anyways. But so let's go ahead and simulate training. And let's see what happens from our first weekly strategy and training session. So let's see, no injury, looks like arrows there. Nobody's probable, no questionable, no doubtful, and no one's out for offense. And same for defense, it looks like. So we've got a fully healthy squad for the most part going in. But as you can see, even on the no injury, you can see they're all taking wear and tear. You know, so like Gabriel Murphy, risk injury is low, but he is -2 tackle, -1 block shedding, -1 finesse moves, -1 power moves. You know, Andrew Van Ginkel, -1 tackle. Bo Richter has quite a bit, and then you have like, you know, the wear and tear risk areas where they're more likely to have an injury should one occur. But it's neat to see how you kind of, you know, they're adjusted based off of taking those hits and stuff like that during practices and stuff like that. And even Reichert, low risk of injury to looks like his right arm and right ankle, which for a kicker, I mean, it is what it is. So let's go ahead and continue. Let's see the first upgrades we get. It looks like Jordan Mason. And I hope they speed up these menus somehow. This is really ridiculous how slow the menus are this year. But we're going to actually boost. We are going to work on his elusive, but I am going to boost power to 80 first, and then we'll work on elusive moving forward. Then we'll do Ivan Pace. We're going to upgrade his passing because he is definitely weak as far as the pass coverage goes. I would say that's kind of his weak spot. So we are going to work on that for Ivan Pace. Let's see, Will Reichard. Let's keep his accuracy going forward. So looks like he may be back to form, so we're going to keep pushing that accuracy up. Because with the changes, they will miss kicks, so I want to try to keep him as accurate as possible right now. Donovan Jackson. Playing inside, he's going to have some of those big D tackles that he'll have to help out with, so we're going to kind of bounce back and forth between agile and power for him. We're going to do agile first, try to get him to around like 78, 80, and then we'll start working on that power. Excuse me. had really bad allergies or something lately. I don't know if it's still the smoke or whatnot. I mean, we've had decent air quality lately up here, but we've still had some really hazy days. So Ryan Wright, we're going to increase his power because we need to see Ryan Wright needs to get better power. That's one thing I like about Oscar is he had hang time on his kicks. And that's not something we got to see very often from Ryan Wright. Ryan Wright's a very accurate punter for the most part. He'll get you inside the 20, stuff like that. But, I mean, they always have a chance for return because his kicks are just almost like bullet kicks. I mean, they're just so quick. And then for Dallas Turner, let's work on your power. We need to increase your power because they say you got stronger coming in. You look a little bit stronger, but I also saw you get manhandled on a few plays that I did see you play during the preseason. So we'll work on that there. And that looks like it here. And we're going to go in, and even if I skip the games, like we're going to be skipping preseasons, I'm going to go in. That way some of the sliders still take effect. Because it still gets pretty even stats when you're in here. If you just sim out of, like from the main menu, it can be rough. Stat-wise, it's not much realism all the time. But I've noticed when you go in-game, you still get some pretty realistic sim experiences out of it. So that's a good thing to see. And I was at this game this year. It was a fun game to see. It was pretty nice. And we're going to go ahead and jump forward to the end of game. We'll go fast, let it just kind of run through. Looks like Minnesota's off to a 3-0 lead. Houston took a 7-3. Minnesota takes it back 10-7. We're at halftime. In the third, Houston takes a lead, takes a major lead. Minnesota gets another field goal. And Minnesota ties it up, and Houston looks like it's going to win it. So this first one's in the books, 28-21, with Houston with the win. We're not really going to worry about stats or stuff too much here, but as you can see, completion percentages. Davis Mills, 59.1. Carson Wentz, 78.3. Makes sense when Carson Wentz is playing second-teamers, and he can be pretty accurate. We're not going to spend much on this because it's preseason, but, I mean, you can kind of see what we're looking at. So, you know, completion percentages from the 50s to 70s. For rushing attempts, you know, quite a bit of people rushing in here, including receivers and everything else. Averages are all pretty good. You know, other than the quarterbacks for the most part and a couple rushes from a receiver. I mean, we had some pretty good ones there. Let's see. We didn't have any drops in this, but I do see drops when I'm in my actual one. But it's nice to see kind of things pairing off. Blocking, we did get some sacks in that game. Looks like there was 2 sacks. Defense, total tackles, shouldn't really see too many times. People 15 plus. So not bad with 13 there. We had 2 interceptions that game, 3 total sacks. 2 pass deflections, no forced fumbles. No blocks, no safeties, and no defensive touchdowns. So, not too bad overall. We could check out the summary of team stats so you can kind of see that. So, you know, pretty good. Turnovers, third down percentages are pretty decent. Vikings were pretty low, but fourth down percentage is pretty high. Total plays, 15-6, so that's 114. So, right in line about what you want to see in a game. So, as you can see, even in sim, like I said, when you go in-game, stats are still pretty realistic when you boil it down to total yards and everything like that. You see a couple penalties. You had 6 penalties that game. Possession time is pretty good. You know, Vikings like to milk the clock. It's a West Coast zone run thing, so the fact that they had more possession time makes sense, even though it's in a loss. And the yards per play, you know, 6 and 4. Let's see, what was the yards per pass? So 7.3 and 9.5, so that was pretty good. And rushing yards, 3.3 and 3.8. That's, yeah, so everything checks out pretty good. So I'm liking what I see, even in that fast sim, but which we won't be doing much of those. But I just want to get the preseason out of the way because everybody voted to kind of see every game. I don't know if we're really going to do every game. If that's what you guys really want to do, we can. Just, you know, kind of leave that down in the comments what you guys want to do on that. Well, let's go ahead and advance to the next week. All right, so weekly strategy. I'm going to stick with the same stuff because I feel like this is really kind of. Oh, it looks like they changed things. Okay, so they change week to week. So they changed a lot out for you as well. Um, you know, let's kind of see how it works with them doing it this week. Same people in there, so that's good at least. So simulate training. See if we have anybody out with injuries for practice. Yes, Tyler Batty went from healthy to out due to a high ankle sprain, and risk injury is severe, so he will not be playing. Interesting. So, do we have any doubtful on offense or defense? No. Any questionable? No. Any probable? No. So, we just had the one so far. Let's see, and everybody else seems to still be at, loss of one bar on there for wear and tear. So, okay, not bad. Let's get a couple more upgrades in here. Let's see what we got. Another one for Donovan Jackson. Well, I actually might back and forth for him, so we're going to do a power this time. It seems like the menu's starting to get a little bit faster, or maybe not. So Jalen Naylor. For I need to take him and Rondell Moore out of the lineups because of the injuries. So let's see, is Playmaker still broken? Oh, yeah, +6 release, +4 short route. Looks like Playmaker still may be broken to a point. That's interesting to know. Dallas Turner. Going to work on his power as well, so we're going to go ahead and pop that for him. Gabriel Murphy, who I really like. I think he's got a lot of potential down the road, so we're definitely going to be working with him. Let's get his power up some too, because he was kind of speed and powering through people during preseason this year. That was nice to see. He was our first sack of the preseason. Dwight McGlothern. Hoping he can turn it around this year and show out a little bit. We're going to work on his man-to-man a bit. So +2 man-to-man, +1 tack on that. So that was pretty good. Tim Jones. Just do Playmaker because that's our scheme fit anyways. Lots of +3s in there. Walter Russi. Going to work on his power and agile as well. We'll do agile first since they're pretty even. Let's go ahead and get the second one of the preseason out of the way against the New England Patriots. So I'm just going to fast forward to this. We'll watch the entries and stuff during when we do our games moving forward. But for now, I'm just trying to get through the preseason for the most part. Let's go ahead and jump forward again to the end of the game. Let's see, New England takes it down and scores right off the bat. Take a 14-0 lead. Minnesota comes back with a field goal. Looks like there might have been a turnover there with another field goal. A lot of field goals, so that's 4 field goals this game so far. That's 5. And it's a 27-6 win by the Patriots. So let's check out the team stats again. See how we're looking there. Main thing I like to look for is kind of the yards per pass, the yards per rush. Make sure they're within doable amounts. Yards per rush, that's really bad for the Vikings. 12 for 39. Patriots had 31 for 115. Passing, 20 for 26, 18 for 26 and 3. See, we had 6 penalties again. That's pretty good. Punts averaging in the 50s. Total yards is okay. And total plays were a little low this time. We were at 90, what is that, 95? 95, something like that. So that's a little low, but that's one thing I did notice about this year is you're going to be in that 90 to 120 range with these settings. If you go any lower, you're going to drop, and if you go any higher, you're going to drop. It's a weird setting this year, and for the most of the time, you're going to get kind of the 105 to 120 range, which is, that's realistic, so that's why I'm running with it. But it is interesting to see that 90 in there. Like I said, it was for a sim, though. It wasn't in-game, so we'll see what happens when we do week 1, when we actually watch that one in full. And let's go ahead and advance the week to our last preseason against the Titans. Trainer talk, injury impact. Let's see what this is. Coach O'Connell, with the regular season around the corner, I wanted to talk more about how we can help with injuries. Don't forget, as you're setting the weekly strategy, you can utilize our abilities to affect a player's health. Healing Accelerator can help players return from the injuries faster. Practice Protector, which is what we're using, keeps players healthy during the week, limiting injuries from training. Probable Status Shift can help push borderline players into available statuses for game day. Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know how you had such a big impact on this team. We do what we can, so what role are you most interested in us performing? Let's do injury prevention in the first place. And got one awarded, cool. Alright, so real glad to have you and your team here. Appreciate you taking the time to reach out. And there's that, so let's do our last preseason weekly strategy. Interesting, and it switches up based off of the teams too. Every week I've seen a different loadout, so we'll be doing our own loadouts during the regular season. I just kind of want to see how it goes. Let's see if we have anyone out this week. Isaiah Rodgers is out with an ACL sprain. Okay. It looks like Tyler Algier was traded to the Browns. That's interesting. Alright, Ty Felton gets an upgrade. Get his playmaker going. And the next upgrade was Kobe King, which I really liked what I was seeing from him during the preseason. And let's work on his pass coverage as well. And then I think there was one more upgrade for this week. Yep. Khalif Halassi. Let's go ahead and upgrade his man-to-man. Then let's get this final preseason game against the Titans out of the way. So play full game. And let's get this done. It's a rain game. It's like light rain from the look of it. And we'll go ahead and jump forward to end the game again on this one. And Minnesota takes a 3-0 lead. Now Tennessee is up 7-3. Vikes take a 10-7 lead in the third. 13-7. 13-10. Tie game. Tennessee takes a 3-point lead. Minnesota ties it up. And the final preseason game between the Vikings and the Titans actually ended in a 16-16 tie. But now we're getting to the good parts. Now we are going to be officially starting our franchise as far as games go after this. We can check the team stats real quick just in case any of you want to see it. So Rushing, Vikings 22 for 101 and 1, Titans 24 for 83 and 1, passing 16 out of 27 for 210, Titans 19 of 28 for 181. All realistic stats. Looks like the Vikings threw 2 interceptions. There were a total of 7 penalties that game, so not bad. The punt averages were lower, which makes sense with the rain, so that's good to see. And total plays, we had 90, 101. So still not at the 120 that I want, but it is doable. We're getting over 100, so that's what matters. And we'll finish the game there. We'll pay more attention to those stats when we're playing. Like I said, I'll readjust things as we go on. Jay Ward gets an upgrade from that, so let's see if we might be able to get him to a 70 overall going into the season. That would be nice. And let's build up his hybrid, and he does not go up rating, so he will stay at 69, but he does get +3 to man coverage, +1 to player recognition, and +1 to zone coverage. And we'll advance a week to our bye, which is where we're at now. And now it's time to make our cuts. So we're going to do these cuts based off of what I think they're going to do in real life. Obviously, some cuts have already been done, and I've made some changes. So we've got Wentz, Brosmer, McCarthy, which I think is going to be our QBs going forward. Halfbacks, I think Scott's going to go in, but we're going to run with these 3 because they don't have Scott in this one. Ricci, we're going to leave for now. For wide receivers, so we're going to have Jefferson, Addison suspended, Moore's on IR. So really we've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 6 receivers. I don't know if we're going to be keeping Tim Jones, though. I honestly don't think we'd keep Tim Jones. I do see us keeping Miles Price. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut Tim Jones, and we're going to see if we can work out a trade or something that might make sense. For tight ends, I don't think we're going to keep Vanette. So we're going to cut Vanette. We're going to keep 3. Bartholomew is going to be the one. I think Urasek's going to, and Nesbitt's going to go to our practice squads, though. So we're going to move them to practice squads. Urasek will probably stay in until they fully clear Bartholomew. I don't know what they're doing with that. I saw that there's rumors that Bartholomew may not be right off the bat, but for now we're going to go with Bartholomew. For our left tackles, I don't see us keeping Leroy Watson, and I do not see us keeping Justin Skule. But there's a chance we could. Let's see where we're at once we do the cuts that I know we're going to do, or that I have a feeling that we're going to do. Like, I don't see us keeping Matt Nelson. I do see us keeping Walter Rossi. For edge, Tyler Batty. I don't see us really keeping him. I do see him going to practice squad possibly. Right edge, I see us keeping all of them. For D tackles, I do not see us keeping Jonathan Harris. So if we needed to cut one due to room, I do see us cutting Harris. I don't see us cutting beyond that. I do see us going with 6 D tackles into the season. For Mike, I think we're going to keep Cashin and Kobe King. I think Keys has done enough to make it to the practice squad. I don't know if he's going to make the 53. As far as Will, I think we're going to keep Pace, Wilson. Chambliss is kind of on the bubble for me. Mousy Jr., I think he's just going to be straight out cut, but we're going to go ahead and move him to practice squad for now. Let's see, for cornerbacks, we've got 9 here. So the thing is Javier Thomas, I'm kind of stuck on this one because I do like Halasi, but it was against second teamers and third teamers. I don't think he did enough to qualify for the 53 per se. So I think I'm going to move Halasi to the practice squad. And then I think, so I know for a fact we're going to have Byron Murphy, obviously Isaiah Rogers, Mackie Blackman, and Jeff Okuda. So that's 1, 2, 3, that's 4. I don't see us going more than 6. Zemiah Vaughn, I did like. He made a couple of mistakes, but for the most part, I think he's got a lot of potential for the future. And in real life, I have a feeling if they put him on the practice squad, he's going to be gone. Somebody will pick him up. Same with McGlothern. So what I think I'm going to do is we're going to go for the youngsters. I'm going to cut Tavierre Thomas because I think he was originally brought in to be a possible, you know, a fill-in on the safety and stuff like that. But I don't really think we need him with the lineups that we have. Um, Ambry Thomas, I think, is going to get cut for sure. And I'm stuck with this. So we're going to wait for a second on that. Free safety, strong safety, we're good. And yeah, so we're down to, I think we need 4 more players. It still says 16, that's the bug. So yeah, cut 4 more players. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to cut Rishi. Obviously he's not supplanting Ham. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to have to bring one in. But I'm going to have to leave more now for just the number 5. And we'll just have to get playing time with them. I know they're probably going to bring somebody in via trade or whatnot, but I can't just go out and put Rondell Moore on IR. It won't let me, obviously, unless he's injured. So he's going to be taking up a roster spot. So that's going to cause a problem in our stuff right now. So I'm just going to leave him on the roster for now, but I'll just put him back, and we're just going to run with what we have there. So we're not going to make any changes there. Tight ends, we're going to stay. For the tackles, so for the O-line, I don't see us keeping all of the guards and centers. I see Brandel staying. So I think Jurgens, he did okay, but I think we're going to move Jurgens to the practice squad. And Huber did pretty good too, but I don't see us keeping necessarily 9. And then Roosey's there. So what I think I'm going to do is, just because of age, I'm going to cut Justin Skule. And that will open the door for us to keep who we need to there. And then on cornerbacks, I am going to go ahead for now, and we're going to send Zemiah Vaughn down to the practice squad. So that's what we did. Let me know in the comments if you think we should have done something else, or what you think we should have done. Let's go ahead and let's look to see what's available as far as free agents go for wide receivers. I'm not going to look at too many positions because I think we're pretty set on where we're at. And some of these I don't think we would really do anyways, even if they were available. Now, this Van Jefferson is one that I was looking at that I think we might look at. But yeah, nothing here. Let's see if we can swing a trade. Let's see if we can get Adam Thielen back in Minnesota. We're just going to see what it would take based off of here. And okay, we're not getting rid of Jordan Mason. I'm not giving up a second-round pick for Adam Thielen. You know, it's in future years, so that wouldn't be too bad, but still. Let's counter. So I would almost say an ideal thing for them would probably be the 5th-round pick that they picked up and the 6th that they have, but I don't have that. So I will say 2 7ths to make equivalent for it. Let's see if it would just take that. A 5th and 2 7ths for Thielen, and they won't do it. So I would be willing to do it for a 4th, but I wouldn't go any higher than that. And they won't do it, so we will not be getting Adam Thielen. So we'll just run with what we got. Let's go ahead and advance week. And now we're on to week 1, and that'll be it for this episode, guys. Thanks for tuning in and watching. For those of you that are in the Night Watch, be sure, as always, to comment, subscribe, share this post. Let me know in the community tab. There's also the community tab. I forget exactly what it's called, but where you guys can type in things and start your own posts and comments and stuff. So make sure you guys check out that community and the post tab. Get involved in the community. Be sure to share and all that. And for those of you wanderers out there that have not subscribed to be part of the Night Watch yet, make sure you subscribe so you can get notifications and updates whenever we release future recordings, and join a community that likes to sim the battle and rule the night together. So, as always, keep it 100, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Skol! The stadium stands silent. The battlefield awaits. Shadows stir, legends awaken. Tonight, the clash begins. Join the Night Watch and let's sim the battle and rule the night together. Welcome to NightKnightSims.